This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're dealing with a GE or Fridgidaire dryer with a broken belt. We think it's broken because when we turn it on we can hear the motor turning, but it doesn't sound like the tumbler's turning. And these belts break about maybe every 5 or 6 years. So we're going to test it by opening up the door. We're going to press the door switch button, and then at the same time we'll reach up and turn the start switch here at the same time, and we should be able to hear the motor running, but we won't see the tumbler turning, so we know it's a broken belt. Pretty easy to fix. Pretty common problem. So we got to make sure we've unplugged it or removed power by turning off the breaker. And then we're going to use a paint scraper to come in about 2 inches from each side to press in on these clips that release the top. Once you get the 2 clips pushed in, I usually have to hit it with my palm of my hand to get the clip to release. Then you can just hinge up this top panel, and you have access to a couple of screws that, once removed, help the front panel come off. So we lift up the top. Looking in here, we see there's a modular electrical connection here. We'll see in a second. This white modular connection, we have to disconnect that. So we get that disconnected. Have to take off a little zip tie on the electrical connector, and we have to pull out 2 Phillips head screws at each corner here. Once they're out, we just pull back on the top on each corner, and the front panel will hinge back, come back about 45 degrees, and then you can just lift it up. It'll come off of 2 clips at the bottom, and this one is pretty dirty, so it's kind of hard to see these clips. But once you lean it back, you can just pull it up, get it out of the way. In this case, you don't have to do this when you do a belt repair, but I pulled the whole tumbler out so I could remove a lot of this awful lint that you can see at some point is actually caught on fire and turned black. So this is where a lot of dryer fires come from. I use a vacuum and a brush. Look at this big chunk of lint here. That's pretty awful. I could create a big fire. So I used a brush and the vacuum got it out. Put the tumbler back in. Now I just put the belt over the tumbler. Easy to do. There's really nothing in your way. You don't have to remove any kind of manifold. You can just put it right over the tumbler, and then you just want to push it back and get it to line up where the old belt was. And you can see evidence of the old belt. Just look at it. You'll see like a little mark where the old belt used to run. So just push it on back on both sides, get it lined up. This dryer was really, really dirty. So removed a huge fire danger. So we're going to, again, just push it back, get it lined up. We come down here to the other side, line that up, come down to the bottom. We're going to just get it up over this little white pulley, and I'm going to switch the camera around so we can see how the pulley on the motor and the spring tension pulley line up. So we're pulling back on that white pulley and then putting the belt over the motor pulley, and then I'll turn the tumbler 3 or 4 times to make sure that the belt will stay on. You don't want to put it all back together yet unless you've done this part first to make sure that the belt is on there correctly and that it won't slip off. So maybe a couple of turns. I usually reach in from the front with both hands underneath the tumbler, and my left hand pulls on the spring-loaded pulley as my right hand puts the belt onto the motor pulley. Now I've got the front panel. I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to put the panel back on those clips. We'll pull it back here for a second. You can see the clips here at the bottom. There's one there. And the front panel just has the holes in it, and the clips go right into those holes. So once you have that, you can push the front panel in. You have to open up the, here we just push the wires back in. You have to open up the front door and lift up a little bit on the spin basket on the tumbler as you push it in, and then you lock it into position. We'll close the door, and then we have to put in the 2 Phillips head screws that hold the front panel in and reconnect that white modular connector and put a zip tie to hold it into position. So we got our zip tie, we got that back into position, we got the 2 screws back in, this one here and then one on the other side, got those tight. We put the top panel back down and we pull down hard so that the clips lock. Now the dryer is completely back together and we can give it a little test. So we go turn it on, you can hear it firing up, we open up the door, we can see it's still spinning, so we have a repaired dryer. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you will subscribe so we can send you more appliance repair videos. Thanks again. Bye-bye.